Girl risks her life to save bear cub. Then the mother bear approaches. What happens next will shock you. In the small, picturesque town of Whispering Pines, nestled between rolling hills and a dense forest, lived a young girl named Emily. Emily was just 12 years old, a sweet and adventurous soul with a heart full of kindness and a spirit that was as wild and free as the nature that surrounded her. She lived with her parents, who owned a small general store in town, and her younger brother, Tommy. Emily was known throughout Whispering Pines for her love of animals, especially those that inhabited the forest. She had a special bond with them, a connection that seemed almost magical. Whenever she ventured into the woods, animals would flock to her, seeking her affection and care. Emily loved them all, and they loved her in return. One sunny afternoon, Emily decided to explore the forest. She packed a small backpack with water, snacks, and a first aid kit, just in case. She told her parents she would be back before dinner and set off on her adventure. As she walked deeper into the forest, Emily marveled at the beauty around her. The trees towered above, their leaves rustling softly in the breeze. The birds sang their melodious songs, and the scent of pine filled the air. Emily felt at peace, her heart filled with joy and wonder. Suddenly, she heard a soft, plaintive cry. It was a sound she had never heard before, a sound that tugged at her heartstrings. She stopped in her tracks, her ears perked, trying to pinpoint the source of the sound. It came again, a little louder this time, and Emily realized it was the cry of a baby animal in distress. Without a moment's hesitation, Emily followed the sound, her heart pounding with urgency. She knew she had to help no matter what. Emily quickened her pace, her heart pounding in her chest. The cry grew louder, more desperate, as she neared the source. She pushed through the dense underbrush, her eyes scanning the forest floor for any sign of the distressed animal. Finally, she saw it. A small, furry bundle huddled at the base of a large tree. It was a bear cub, its fur matted and dirty, its eyes filled with fear and pain. The cub looked up at Emily, its cry turning into a soft whimper. Emily's heart went out to the poor creature. She knew she had to act quickly. She approached the cub slowly, speaking in a soothing voice to try and calm it down. "It's okay, little one. I'm here to help. You're not alone." The cub looked at her, its eyes filled with a mix of fear and hope. Emily could see that it was injured, its paw caught in a small, rusty trap. She knew she had to free it, but she also knew that the cub's mother could be nearby, and that could be dangerous. Emily assessed the situation. The trap was old and rusty, but it was still strong enough to hold the cub. She knew she couldn't open it by herself. She would need help. But first, she had to calm the cub down and make sure it didn't injure itself further. She stepped carefully into the underbrush, feeling the leaves crunch under her boots. She reached out a hand, letting the cub sniff her. "It's okay, little one. I'm not going to hurt you." The cub snorted softly, its breath warm against her hand. Emily stroked the cub's neck, feeling the tension in its muscles. She spoke softly, telling it about her adventures in the forest, about her love for animals, and about the peaceful life it could have if it just held on a little longer. Slowly, the cub began to calm down, its breathing steadying. Emily knew she couldn't waste any more time. She needed to get help. She looked around, her mind racing with plans. She remembered a small cabin not far from where she was, a place where an old forest ranger named Mr. Thompson lived. She knew he would have the tools and knowledge to help free the cub. Emily made a decision. She would leave the cub for a moment to get help. She knew it was risky, but she also knew that the cub needed her. She looked at the cub, her voice steady and reassuring. "I'll be back, little one. Promise. I'm going to get help." The cub looked at her, its eyes filled with a mix of fear and trust. Emily turned and made her way back through the forest, her heart pounding with urgency. She knew she had to be quick, that every second counted. Emily rushed through the forest, her heart pounding with urgency. She knew she needed help, and she knew just the person to call. Mr. Thompson, the old forest ranger. She had met him a few times before, and she knew he had the tools and knowledge to help free the cub. She reached the small cabin, her breath coming in short, quick gasps. She knocked on the door, her heart pounding in her chest. Mr. Thompson answered, his face filled with concern. "Emily, what's wrong?" Emily quickly explained the situation, her words tumbling out in a rush. "There's a bear cub caught in a trap in the forest. I can't get it out by myself. I need your help." Mr. Thompson didn't hesitate. "I'll be right there. I'll bring the tools we need." Emily thanked him and waited anxiously as Mr. Thompson gathered his supplies. He grabbed a bag filled with tools, a first aid kit, and a blanket. He also took a length of rope and a shovel, hoping they would be useful. As they prepared, Emily thought about the cub. She wondered how it had ended up in the trap and if its mother was nearby. She knew that the mother bear could be dangerous, but she also knew that the cub needed help, and she was determined to save it. Mr. Thompson was ready, and together, they set off towards the forest. Emily's heart was filled with gratitude for his help. She knew that, with Mr. Thompson by her side, they had a real chance of saving the cub. As they approached the spot where the cub was trapped, Emily could hear its soft, plaintive cry. She knew they had to act quickly. She led Mr. Thompson to the cub, her heart pounding with urgency. The cub looked up at them, its eyes filled with a mix of fear and hope. Mr. Thompson quickly assessed the situation, his hands skilled and steady. He began to work on the trap, using his tools to carefully pry it open. Emily stood by the cub, her voice steady and soothing. "It's okay, little one. We're going to get you out of here." Mr. Thompson worked diligently, his hands skilled and steady. The trap was old and rusty, but he managed to loosen it enough to free the cub's paw. The cub whimpered in pain as the trap finally released its grip. Emily quickly wrapped the blanket around the cub's paw, applying pressure to stop the bleeding. She knew the cub needed medical attention, but for now, they had to get it out of the forest and to safety. With the cub free, Emily and Mr. Thompson carefully lifted it, their hands gentle and caring. They knew they had to move quickly, that the cub's mother could be nearby, and that could be dangerous. As they made their way back through the forest, Emily's heart was filled with relief and gratitude. They had saved the cub, and now they had to make sure it recovered fully. The journey back through the forest was slow and careful. The cub was weak and exhausted, its steps uncertain. Emily and Mr. Thompson walked on either side of it, their hands on its back, guiding and supporting it. They knew they had to get the cub to safety, to a place where it could be cared for and protected. As they neared the cabin, Emily noticed the cub's steps becoming more labored. It was struggling, its breath coming in short, painful gasps. She knew it needed rest and care, and quickly. They led the cub into the cabin, where Mr. Thompson had prepared a makeshift bed with fresh hay and blankets. The cub looked around, its eyes wide with uncertainty. Emily spoke softly, her voice a constant stream of reassurance. "You're safe here, little one. This is your home now." The cub seemed to understand. It lowered its head and lay down on the bed, its body trembling with exhaustion. Emily and Mr. Thompson watched, their hearts filled with relief and concern. "He needs a good wash," Mr. Thompson said, looking at the blood and dirt caked on the cub's paw, "and some food. He looks like he hasn't eaten in a while." Emily nodded. "I'll take care of that. Can you check him over again? Make sure we didn't miss any injuries." Mr. Thompson agreed, and while Emily fetched a bucket of warm water and some rags, Mr. Thompson carefully examined the cub. He checked its paw, its legs, and its body, looking for any signs of injury or distress. Emily returned and began to wash the cub, her hands gentle and careful. She washed away the blood and dirt, revealing the deep wound on the cub's paw. The cub lay still, its eyes closed, seeming to enjoy the attention. As Emily worked, she noticed a small scar on the cub's neck. It was old and faded, but it told a story. She wondered about its past, about the life it had led before ending up in the trap. She made a mental note to ask around, to see if anyone knew it or where it had come from. Once the cub was clean, Emily brought it some food, a mix of berries, nuts, and honey. The cub ate eagerly, its appetite evident. Emily and Mr. Thompson watched, their hearts filled with satisfaction. They had saved it, and now it was safe and cared for. But as the days passed, Emily noticed that the cub was still struggling. It was eating and drinking, but it seemed weak and lethargic. She knew something was wrong, but she couldn't figure out what. She called the local vet, Dr. Miller, a kind and experienced man who had treated many of Emily's animals over the years. Dr. Miller arrived promptly, his bag filled with medical supplies. He examined the cub carefully, his hands gentle and skilled. He checked its heart rate, its breathing, and its temperature. He looked into its eyes, its ears, and its mouth. He listened to its heart and its lungs, his stethoscope pressed against its chest. After a thorough examination, Dr. Miller looked up at Emily, his face serious. "He's suffering from exhaustion and dehydration," he said. "But there's something else. He has an infection, probably from the wound on his paw." Emily's heart sank. She had hoped that the cub was just tired, that it just needed rest and care. But an infection was serious, and it could be life-threatening if not treated properly. Dr. Miller prescribed some antibiotics and told Emily to keep a close eye on the cub. He promised to come back in a few days to check on its progress. Emily thanked him and saw him out. As she returned to the cabin, she looked at the cub, her heart filled with determination. She knew the road ahead was going to be tough, but she was ready to face it. She was ready to fight for its life, to give it the care and love it needed. She stroked its neck, her voice steady and reassuring. "We're going to get through this, little one, together." The days that followed were filled with constant care and vigilance. Emily administered the antibiotics as prescribed, making sure the cub took every dose. She checked its temperature regularly, monitored its food and water intake, and kept its bed clean and comfortable. Despite her best efforts, the cub's condition seemed to worsen. It was lethargic, its appetite diminished, and its eyes lacked the spark they once had. Emily's heart ached as she watched it struggle. She felt helpless, unsure of what more she could do. One evening, as Emily sat by the cub's side, stroking its neck and whispering words of encouragement, she heard a soft knock at the cabin door. She looked up to see Mr. Thompson standing there, his eyes filled with concern. "Emily," he said softly, "I heard about the cub. I wanted to see if I could help." Emily looked at Mr. Thompson, her heart filled with gratitude. "Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Yes, he could use all the help he can get." Mr. Thompson stepped into the cabin, his eyes fixed on the cub. He approached it slowly, his hand outstretched. The cub looked up at him, its eyes filled with a mix of fear and curiosity. Mr. Thompson spoke softly, his voice gentle and soothing. "Hello, little one. I'm here to help you feel better." The cub snorted softly, its breath warm against Mr. Thompson's hand. Mr. Thompson stroked its neck, his touch light and comforting. Emily watched, her heart filled with hope. Maybe Mr. Thompson could provide the extra care and attention the cub needed. Mr. Thompson spent the evening with the cub, talking to it, stroking it, and even singing softly to it. The cub seemed to respond to his presence, its eyes brightening slightly, its breathing steadying. As the days passed, Mr. Thompson became a regular visitor to the cabin. He helped Emily with the cub's care, administering the medicine, feeding it, and keeping it company. The cub seemed to grow stronger with each visit, its appetite improving, its energy returning. Emily was grateful for Mr. Thompson's help. She saw the bond forming between the man and the cub, a bond that was healing and strengthening both of them. She knew that Mr. Thompson's presence was making a difference, that his love and care were helping the cub recover. One day, as Mr. Thompson sat with the cub, stroking its neck and singing softly, the cub suddenly stood up. It looked at Mr. Thompson, its eyes filled with a newfound strength and determination. Took a step forward, then another, its movements steady and sure. Emily looked at Mr. Thompson, her eyes shining with happiness. "He's going to be okay, isn't he?" Mr. Thompson nodded, his voice steady and reassuring. "Yes, he is. Thanks to you." Emily blushed, her cheeks turning a soft pink. "I just wanted to help. I love animals, and I couldn't stand to see him suffering." Mr. Thompson smiled at her. "You have a gift, Emily. A gift for healing and caring. The cub is lucky to have you." Emily smiled back, her eyes filled with gratitude. "Thank you, Mr. Thompson. I'm glad I could help." As the days turned into weeks, the cub continued to improve. It was eating well, its coat was shiny and healthy, and its eyes were bright and alert. It was no longer the weak, exhausted creature they had rescued from the trap. It was strong, vibrant, and full of life. Emily and Mr. Thompson watched its progress with joy and pride. They knew that their care and love had made a difference, that they had saved its life and given it a new chance at happiness. But they also knew that the cub's journey was far from over. It still needed care and attention, and it still needed a name that would reflect its strength, its beauty, and its spirit. One sunny afternoon, as Emily and Mr. Thompson sat with the cub, watching it play in the clearing behind the cabin, they decided it was time to give it a name. They had been discussing it for days, throwing out different ideas and suggestions, but nothing seemed to fit. "What about Brave?" Emily suggested, her eyes shining with excitement. "He's a symbol of bravery, isn't he? He survived against all odds, and now he's thriving." Mr. Thompson looked at the cub, his heart filled with warmth. "Brave," he said softly. "It's perfect." The cub looked up at them, its ears perked, as if it understood. It let out a soft growl, its tail swishing gently. "Brave it is, then," Emily said, her voice filled with satisfaction. "Welcome to your new home, Brave." Brave seemed to like his name. He nuzzled against Emily and Mr. Thompson, his affection evident. They laughed, their hearts filled with joy and love. As the days passed, Brave continued to thrive. He grew stronger and healthier, his spirit shining brighter with each passing day. He was a constant source of joy and companionship for Emily and Mr. Thompson, and they loved him dearly. One day, as Emily sat on the porch, watching Brave play in the clearing, she heard a soft rustling sound. She looked around, her eyes wide with surprise, as a large, majestic bear emerged from the forest. It was Brave's mother, her eyes filled with a mix of concern and determination. Emily's heart pounded in her chest as she watched the mother bear approach. She knew that this could be dangerous, that the mother bear could be protective and aggressive. But she also knew that she had to stay calm, that she had to show the mother bear that she meant no harm. Emily stood up slowly, her hands outstretched in a peaceful gesture. She spoke softly, her voice steady and reassuring. "It's okay, Mama Bear. I'm not gonna hurt your cub. I'm here to help. I'm here to protect him." The mother bear looked at Emily, her eyes filled with a mix of curiosity and caution. She seemed to understand, to sense the love and the care that Emily had for her cub. She took a step forward, her movements slow and careful. Emily's heart pounded in her chest as she watched the mother bear approach. She knew that this was a crucial moment, a moment that could determine the fate of Brave and his mother. She knew that she had to stay calm, that she had to show the mother bear that she meant no harm. As the mother bear approached, something incredible happened. The mother bear stopped a few feet away from Emily, her eyes fixed on her cub. Brave looked up at his mother, his eyes filled with a mix of joy and relief. He let out a soft growl, his tail wagging gently. The mother bear nuzzled against her cub, her affection evident. She looked at Emily, her eyes filled with a mix of gratitude and understanding. She seemed to sense the love and the care that Emily had for her cub, the bond that had formed between them. Emily watched in awe as the mother bear and her cub reunited. She knew that this was a special moment, a moment that she would never forget. She knew that she had made a difference, that she had saved the cub and given it a new chance at happiness. As the mother bear and her cub played together, Emily couldn't help but feel a sense of joy and satisfaction. She knew that she had done something incredible, something that had changed the lives of these beautiful creatures. She knew that she had a special gift, a gift of love and compassion, a gift that could change hearts and heal souls. As the days turned into weeks, the mother bear and her cub became a regular sight in the forest. They would often visit Emily, their bond growing stronger with each passing day. Emily would spend her days with them, playing with the cub, caring for them, and enjoying their company. The town of Whispering Pines began to change as well. The people began to see the goodness in the bears, the love and the loyalty that they had for their human friends. They began to open their hearts to them, to love and care for them, just like Emily did. And as the town of Whispering Pines transformed into a place of love and compassion, Emily knew that she had made a difference, that she had changed the lives of countless animals and people, that she had given hope and love to all living things.